The Gaza conflict is deeply rooted with a long history. To understand the present, we must delve into historical events. It begins in the early 20th century during the British Mandate of Palestine. The 1947 UN partition plan proposed dividing Palestine into two states. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War led to Israel's victory and Palestinian displacement. The Gaza Strip became occupied after the 1967 Six-Day War. These events shaped the ongoing conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. The Gaza Strip is a small coastal territory bordering Israel and Egypt, measuring a mere 25 miles long and 4 to 7 miles wide. Despite its small size, it is home to over 2 million Palestinians, making it one of the most densely populated areas in the world. This high population density exacerbates the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. Following the Israeli disengagement in 2005, which saw the removal of Israeli settlements and military presence within Gaza, control of the territory fell to various Palestinian factions. In 2007, Hamas, a Palestinian Islamist group designated as a terrorist organization by Israel, the United States, and other countries, seized control of Gaza after a brief but violent conflict with Fatah, the dominant party in the Palestinian Authority. Hamas's ideology, which calls for the destruction of Israel, and its use of violence have made it a major obstacle to peace negotiations. The group's control of Gaza has also led to a crippling Israeli-Egyptian blockade, severely restricting the movement of people and goods in and out of the territory. Hamas, an acronym for the Islamic Resistance Movement, emerged in the late 1980s during the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. Founded as an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas quickly gained popularity by providing social services and advocating for armed resistance against Israel. Hamas's charter, published in 1988, explicitly calls for the destruction of Israel and the establishment of an Islamic State in all of historic Palestine. The group's ideology, rooted in a combination of Palestinian nationalism and Islamic fundamentalism, views the conflict with Israel as an existential struggle. While Hamas engages in social and political activities, it is perhaps best known for its military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades. This armed faction has been responsible for numerous attacks against Israeli civilians and military targets, including suicide bombings and rocket attacks. Hamas's control of Gaza since 2007 has significantly shaped the dynamics of the conflict. Its uncompromising stance towards Israel and continued use of violence have made it a major obstacle to peace negotiations, further complicating efforts to find a lasting solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Gaza conflict is characterized by cyclical violence, with periods of relative calm punctuated by intense escalations. These flare-ups are often triggered by specific incidents or underlying tensions that quickly spiral into wider confrontations. One major trigger for recent escalations has been the issue of Jerusalem, a city holy to both Jews and Muslims. Tensions surrounding access to holy sites, particularly the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, have frequently sparked protests and clashes. Another flashpoint is the ongoing Israeli blockade of Gaza, which Hamas considers an act of collective punishment. The blockade's restrictions on movement and economic activity have created a dire humanitarian situation in Gaza, fueling frustration and anger among the population. Militant activity from Gaza, including rocket fire and attempts to breach the border fence, is often cited by Israel as justification for military action. Hamas, on the other hand, frames its actions as legitimate resistance against occupation. The complex interplay of these and other factors, including internal Palestinian divisions and regional geopolitical dynamics, creates a volatile environment where even seemingly minor incidents can quickly escalate into deadly conflicts with far-reaching consequences. Section 5. A Trail of Devastation. The impact on both Israelis and Palestinians. The Gaza conflict inflicts a heavy toll on both Israelis and Palestinians. The human cost of this conflict is undeniable. Palestinians face widespread death and injury. Gaza's dense population and lack of infrastructure make it vulnerable. The blockade worsens the humanitarian crisis. Israelis near the Gaza border face constant rocket threats. These attacks instill fear and insecurity. The threat of violence disrupts daily life. The conflict inflicts deep psychological wounds. Trauma and grief leave lasting scars. Section 6. The human cost, a dire humanitarian crisis. The Gaza Strip faces a dire humanitarian crisis, exacerbated by the ongoing conflict and the Israeli blockade. The combination of poverty, unemployment, food insecurity, and limited access to essential services has created a desperate situation for millions of Palestinians. The healthcare system in Gaza is on the brink of collapse, lacking adequate medical supplies, equipment, and trained personnel. The blockade restricts the entry of essential medicines and medical equipment, making it extremely difficult to treat chronic illnesses and war-related injuries. The water and sanitation infrastructure is also in dire straits. Over 95% of the water in Gaza is unfit for human consumption, leading to widespread waterborne illnesses. The lack of proper sanitation facilities further exacerbates the public health crisis. The conflict has also had a devastating impact on education. Schools have been damaged or destroyed in the fighting, disrupting the education of thousands of children. The psychological toll of living in a constant state of conflict also affects children's ability to learn and thrive. Section 7. Aid and obstacles, the struggle to provide relief. Providing humanitarian aid to Gaza is essential. Delivering aid is fraught with challenges. The Israeli blockade severely limits humanitarian goods. The security situation poses significant risks. Despite challenges, international organizations work tirelessly to provide assistance. Section 8. The elusive peace challenges and attempts at resolution. Achieving a just and lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians has been an elusive goal for decades. Numerous attempts at peace negotiations have failed to bridge the deep divides and mistrust between the two sides. One of the main obstacles to peace is the issue of Jerusalem, claimed by both Israelis and Palestinians as their capital. The status of Jerusalem, particularly its holy sites, remains a highly sensitive and contentious issue. Another major stumbling block is the question of settlements. Israel's continued expansion of settlements in the West Bank, considered illegal under international law, is seen by Palestinians as a major obstacle to peace. The issue of refugees also presents a significant challenge. Millions of Palestinian refugees, displaced by the 1948 and 1967 wars, demand the right of return to their former homes in what is now Israel. Israel, on the other hand, rejects this demand, arguing that it would threaten its Jewish demographic character. Despite these challenges, there have been numerous attempts to broker peace between Israelis and Palestinians. Section 9. Voices from the rubble: human stories of loss and resilience. Beyond the headlines and statistics, it is crucial to remember that the Gaza conflict is ultimately about people. Individuals and families whose lives have been irrevocably altered by this enduring conflict. Their stories of loss, resilience, and hope offer a powerful reminder of the human cost of war and the urgent need for peace. We hear from mothers in Gaza who have lost children to the violence, their grief palpable as they clutch faded photographs and share memories of brighter days. We listen to Israeli families living in constant fear of rocket attacks, their lives disrupted by the ever-present threat of violence. There are stories of Palestinian doctors and nurses working tirelessly in understaffed and poorly equipped hospitals, struggling to save lives amidst the chaos and destruction. We encounter Israeli soldiers grappling with the moral complexities of their service, haunted by the memories of combat and the human cost of war. These personal accounts, often overlooked in the broader political discourse, highlight the shared humanity of both Israelis and Palestinians. Section 10. Beyond the headlines. Understanding for a shared future. The Gaza conflict is often portrayed in simplistic terms, fueled by narratives of good versus evil and victimhood. However, achieving a just and lasting peace requires moving beyond such binary frameworks and fostering a deeper understanding of the conflict's complexities. It is essential to recognize the historical grievances, political aspirations, and security concerns of both Israelis and Palestinians. Acknowledging the suffering endured by both sides does not diminish the experiences of either. Rather, it creates space for empathy and dialogue. Breaking down stereotypes and fostering people-to-people interactions can help bridge divides and build understanding. Initiatives that promote dialogue, cultural exchange, and shared experiences can challenge preconceived notions and foster empathy. Education also plays a crucial role in promoting peace. Section 11. A call for peace towards a just and lasting solution. The ongoing conflict in Gaza is a tragedy for all involved. It is time for a renewed commitment to peace, one that prioritizes dialogue, diplomacy, and the pursuit of a just and lasting solution. The international community must pressure all parties to end the violence and engage in meaningful negotiations. A two-state solution based on the 1967 borders remains the most viable path to peace. For the sake of Israelis and Palestinians alike, it is time to break the cycle of violence and create a future where both peoples can live in peace,